Listen to this line from St. Paul from the letters to the Romans. While we were enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his son. That's incredible. Who does that? Who reconciles with anybody when you're still enemies? Don't you have to say you're sorry first, and then okay, maybe I'll accept you back again into the fold? But this is while we're still enemies, God accepts us. Who does this? Well, God. Now, when God has a quality and characteristics, you see, I want that. I want to have that. So let's find out how to get this quality from God. So let's say, for instance, you have the neighbor from hell. He never rakes his leaves, so all his leaves blow into your yard. And then he has a dog, and he uses your front yard as a litter box. And then he plays loud music at night. He's ready to drive you absolutely crazy. And then there's a snowstorm. It's a really bad snowstorm, and you know that your neighbor has a bad heart condition. So this allows you two options. Option number one is, well, let him hire one of the kids in the neighborhood to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to reward bad behavior. I don't want to enable this guy who is just always bad to me, and I've always complained to him, and he doesn't seem to do anything right. And that's one way to go. That's one way to go is to look at it in the sense that I don't want to reward bad behavior. But another way to look at it is this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity that I can be like God. I can have one of the qualities and characteristics of God that while somebody's still my enemy, that I can do something nice, because this is what God does for me. And having the more qualities I have of God, the better it is. Let me give you an example of what this is like. Dad and I like to fly fish a lot, and so we were fly fishing from shore down Cape Cod. And there was this dory that came in, and it was had bins in it, all kinds of bins, and they were filled with horseshoe crabs. Now, apparently, horseshoe crabs, we don't eat them at the restaurant or anything, but they're for medicinal reasons. They have a fluid in them that's used for medicine, and then they throw them back into the water alive again. So this guy had all these horseshoe crabs. So my father went up and he said, how do you catch horseshoe crabs? So the guy says, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. And he explained that it was his father that handed him on this trade and told him all the secrets of the trade. Now, let's say, for instance, that right after that, we went to a coffee shop, and I told everybody in the coffee shop that I just found a guy that catches horseshoe crabs. And let's say there's a guy at the counter, he takes off his glasses, puts down the newspaper and says, oh, that's got to be my son. You know. And now that's exactly what I want to happen with God. Let's say, for instance, God is in heaven. Somebody goes, hey, there's a guy down there that's being nice to his neighbor who's the neighbor from hell, and he's helping him out and everything. And then God takes off his glasses and says, well, that must be my son, or my kid. And that's what I want. I want to have the qualities of God. That's how I want to be connected with God, is to do the things that God does. He's merciful, he's kind, he's compassionate. And this is one of these qualities that God has, is the ability to be able to reconcile while we're still enemies. And this is something that would be really special to have, this special quality where God and I can connect. You know, my father, we fly fish a lot, and I have a lot of his qualities. I'm a hard worker, and I take pride in my work, and we like to fly fish together, and we have a lot of similarities in the way we do things. In fact, one person said to me when he observed my father and I together, he says, "You got to be cloned. You're cloned. You're just like your father." And so that's what I would like to be with God. I would want to be just like God. That's the opportunity in life that I see is one of the greatest accomplishments that I can have, is to get as many qualities of God as possible. And that's what the scriptures are. That's what the Bible really is. The Bible is taking a look at God's qualities, so I can say, I want to have that. So when you go to church, don't daydream. Don't fall asleep especially when they're reading the scriptures to you. You want to be paying close attention to what, because what the scriptures are doing is they're exposing us to God's qualities and characteristics, because that's where we're going to be really happy in life, is to be able to take these qualities and adopt them as our own, so that God can look down on us and say, oh yeah, that's one of my kids. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.